Blues fans, glad you made it. Welcome to the next episode of This Week in the Blues. It's our weekly take on blues history. I'm your host, Jimbo Big Train Madsen with Big Train and the Locomotives, a blues band in Oklahoma. So let's take a look and see what happened this week in blues history.
Matt Guitar Murphy was born December 29th, 1929, and is best known for his work with James Cotton, Memphis Slim, and Howlin Wolf. Murphy was born in Sunflower, Mississippi, and grew up in Memphis, where his father worked at the Peabody Hotel. If you aren't familiar with the Peabody Hotel, that's the one that actually marches the ducks every morning from the rooftop down to the fountain that they have, and then returns them at night. Anyway, Murphy learned to play guitar when he was a child, and in 1948 moved to Chicago, where he joined the Howlin Wolf band. Now, in the late 1970s, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi saw Murphy perform, and they asked him to join the touring band of the Blues Brothers. And that also led to his appearance in the Blues Brothers movies. Happy birthday to rock and roll pioneer Bo Diddley. He was born on December 30th in 1928. Now, Ellis McDaniel was his real name, and he played a key role in the transition from the blues to rock and roll. He influenced many artists, including Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, among many, many others. His use of African rhythms and a signature beat, a simple 5-accent ham-bone rhythm, is a cornerstone to hip-hop, rock, and pop music today. Bo Diddley developed many special effects and other innovations in tone and attack, and his trademark instrument was his self-designed, one-of-a-kind, rectangular-bodied twang machine that was built by Gretsch Guitars. Now, next time you listen to Bo Diddley, listen to the maracas in the background. They're the only blues band that I know of that used maracas to attain that sound. It's pretty cool. Lillian McMurray was born December 30th, 1921. She was one of the earliest female record producers and the owner of Trumpet Records in Jackson, Mississippi. She was influential in the development of blues music when she turned part of the record store that she and her husband owned into her own music store and recording studio. The first releases were of gospel music, but she soon auditioned and recorded both slide guitarist Elmore James on his original recording of Dust My Broom and Sonny Boy Williamson II with multiple recordings. Blues singer and harmonica player Houston Boynes was born December 30th, 1918 in Hazelhurst, Mississippi. He was accompanied by guitarist Charlie Booker and later was recruited by talent scout Ike Turner to record for Modern Records in 1952. He also recorded for Sun Records in 1953. He enlisted in the United States Army in January 1941 before the United States entered World War II. After returning, he played with guitarist Houston Booker, Houston Stackhouse, and Eddie Cusack. Blues bassist Hank Sickle was born December 31st, 1961. He's best known for the blues rock band The Blues Breakers. Van Sickle was raised in a family of musicians. His father, Rodney Van Sickle, is a classically trained double bassist who graduated from the Curtis Institute of Music. His sister, Lucy Van Sickle, is a singer and blues harmonica player living in Pittsburgh. Blues singer, guitarist, drummer, and songwriter Gory Carter was born on New Year's Eve in 1930 in Houston, Texas. He's been credited with the stage names Little T-Bone and Rocky Thompson. Carter began playing the blues at the age of 12, and as a teenager he began earning a living at the local Comet Rice Mill. In 1949, he and his Jump Blues Band signed and recorded their first release, Sweet Old Woman Blues. Blues singer Estelle Mama Yancey was born January 1st, 1896. She was nominated 4 times for Blues Music Awards as Traditional Blues Female Artist. Clancy was born in Cairo, Illinois, and grew up in Chicago, where she sang in church choirs and learned to play the guitar. In 1925, when she was 29 years old, she married pioneering boogie-woogie pianist Jimmy Yancey, and Estelle performed and recorded several times with him. She was a talented vocalist, known for her warm sense of humor and great command of the stage. Blues singer, mandolin player, and guitarist Johnny Man Young was born New Year's Day in 1918. He was one of the first of the new generation of electric blues artists to record in Chicago after the Second World War, and also one of the few mandolin players active in blues music in the post-war era. His nickname, Man, came from his playing the mandolin. Although the mandolin is an instrument not commonly associated with Chicago blues, it has been used by Chicago-based string bands or on other Chicago-made recordings. Here's another New Year's baby. The father of Memphis blues guitar style, Frank Stokes, was born on New Year's Day in 1877. Now, Stokes was born in Shelby County, Tennessee, and when his parents died when he was a child, he was raised by his stepfather in Tutwiler, Mississippi. He learned to play the guitar as a young child, and by the turn of the century, Stokes was working as a blacksmith, traveling 25 miles to Memphis on weekends to sing and play the guitar with fellow guitarist Dan Sane. Chicago blues legend Little Smoky Smothers was born January 2nd, 1939 in Chula, Mississippi. He learned to play the guitar at the age of 15 and relocated to Chicago 2 years later. He soon appeared on stage playing with Arthur Big Boy Spires, Magic Sam, Otis Rush, and Lazy Bill Lucas. In 1958, he joined up with Howlin Wolf, and he accompanied Wolf in a recording session for Chess Records. He continued playing the club scene and recorded as a sideman. He even worked as a construction worker in the 70s when the blues gigs dried up, but was back playing and recording once it picked up again. Blues singer and pianist Edith Johnson was born January 2nd, 1903. Her most noted tracks are Honey Dripper Blues, Can't Make Another Day, and 8-Hour Woman. She married Jesse Johnson, a St. Louis record producer, and worked at her husband's Deluxe Music Store as a saleswoman. Although not a professional singer, Johnson recorded 18 sides in 1928 and 1929. While with Paramount Records, she had a recording at the session in Grafton, Wisconsin, attended by Charlie Patton. Country blues musician and guitar player Reuben "Rube" Lacey was born January 2nd in 1901 in Pelahatchie, Mississippi. Lacey learned to play the guitar in his teens from an older performer, George Hendricks. Working out of the Jackson, Mississippi area, he became one of the state's most popular blues singers at the time. His bottleneck style inspired that of better-known performer Son House. In 1927, he recorded 4 songs for Columbia Records in Memphis, Tennessee, though none were released, and unfortunately, the masters did not survive. Smokestack Lightnin was recorded on January 3rd, 1956 by Howlin Wolf for Chess label. It became one of the most popular and influential songs in 1956. Smokestack Lightnin reached number 11 on the Billboard R&B chart. It is based on earlier blues songs, and numerous artists later interpreted it. Wolf had performed Smokestack Lightnin in one form or another, at least by the early 1930s, when he was performing with Charlie Patton in small Delta communities. Mississippi blues guitarist Eddie Cusick was born January 4th, 1926 in Wilmette, Mississippi. Now, a small body of recorded works includes some that were erroneously credited to various misspellings of his name. Growing up in a farming community, he was inspired to play the blues after hearing adults playing at family gatherings. He graduated from playing the Diddley bow to a Sears acoustic guitar. In the early 1950s, he formed a 3-piece band called the Rhythm Aces, and that also included Little Milton, whom Cusick taught to play guitar. Well, blues fans, we just covered some of the highlights here. If you want to know more about these artists or other things that happened this week in the blues, be sure to follow our social media pages, or just go visit our website at bigtrainblues.com. Now we'll have a brand new episode next week, so we'll see you then.